You're listening to a podcast appearing on the Two Guys Talking Podcast Network.
Welcome to Green Gab with Marla, Esser, the Green Home Coach. Intellectual partners in green. We decided intellectual partners in crime wasn't going to get us too far.
No, it wouldn't. It'd just sound really bad. Last thing we want to do is end up in intellectual jail.
What would that look like?
Probably like this room.
Well, that could be. This room's got some funky things going on in it, so that could be. But it's so much fun to record in a studio. Who knew that that would be so magical?
You know, it's fun because we get in here. We have a kind of a plan of, what we want to talk about.
And we never stick to it.
No. You just get in and you want to talk. You want to have a conversation. It's fun.
I was trying to explain to somebody the other day about the magic of sitting behind this mic, and I couldn't explain it.
It's like our own little bully pulpit, but it's not a bully pulpit. It's more like a green pulpit.
A green pulpit. Intellectual partners in green. There you go. I can say it. I really can. Yeah, I enjoy speaking. I know I'm weird. I enjoy public speaking. I actually started in high school and competed, but I love being in front of a crowd and watching them get it. So I really was surprised when we started podcasting. Thought, okay, I'm not going to be able to see people and to read their body language and to see if they're getting it. So I wasn't real sure about that. But there is something magical about being behind the mic. And I literally don't know how to explain it. And I've talked to some other people at podcasts, and they all tell me the same thing.
You know what, though? I'm like the exact opposite of you because I hate having to speak in front of a large crowd.
So this is good for you.
But I am a master, and I'm truly comfortable one-on-one or very small groups.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, this is like a perfect situation because I can have an intimate conversation, yet get my voice out to a large audience.
This is true. This is true. I know you know how excited I am to have you on as a co-host because you and I create magic, and green magic, I guess, we'll just create more of. But I really just appreciate how much synergy and momentum that you've brought to everything that you and I have decided to do together. So thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. And, like I said, none of this has felt like work to me.
It's the best part.
Yeah, it is the best part. It allows us to just kind of create. I'm an artistic person. I love to create in my mind and create for others. To be able to sit here and come up with these podcasts and these programs that we put together helps satisfy that part of me. And, I hope it does the same thing for you.
It does. It does. With some of the plans and my personal plans and things that had come up this year, one of my key goals for 2016 was to really push the paid speaker part of my offerings. And with everything that changed, that really was going to be a challenge. So decided that needed to not be a primary focus till later in the year or even 2017. And then right at the same time, and it was literally that week of my birthday in February, this opportunity dropped in my lap to just go. And I just really looked at that as a gift and a sign that this is what I was supposed to go do.
Right.
It happened so fast, we didn't even get the web page up to support it. We were still putting social media together and writing and everything as it happened. But it's all come together. And that's
part of the magic.
Exactly. To me, that's just part of what is supposed to happen. So I am so happy, so blessed, and so thankful that we are able to help people, women in particular. And I say women in particular because I talk with so many women that don't know how to best get what they want in their homes across to an industry that's mainly full of men. So I think one of the unique things that you and I bring to this mix is that we're one of each.
True.
I'm the woman, he's the man. You got that right. Sorry, I had to put that.
That's not up for debate either.
I know. And it doesn't matter if it is or it isn't. We're not going there. And you're on the industry side, and I represent oftentimes the homeowner side or the builder working with the homeowner side. So what I find so unique about what you and I are able to do is we're really bringing two perspectives together. And our goal, people listening to this show, is to help you find the way to ask your builder, your remodeler, a home service provider, a technology provider like the Sound Room, where Tony is, how to ask them for what you want. And it really all starts with the end in mind, just like everything else in our lives that we forget to do, right? Or I do.
Yes.
Do you once in a while, please?
Of course I do.
But starting with that end in mind and helping people understand the value or the benefit of what you want and then how to get it. So in your world, what would that look like?
Well, everybody has to realize that when you build a house or have a project in mind, even if it's a remodel, an addition, or you're just doing something around the house, most homeowners will have a vision in their mind of what they want.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't matter what industry you're dealing with, you just have to communicate that vision. 9 times out of 10, the person you're working with, upon hearing your vision, will help you create a path to get there. But until we, as a producer, knows, or a provider, knows exactly what your vision is, we can't formulate the best path to get there.
And sometimes not just the home building industry, but all of us in provider role.
Exactly.
We get so caught up on what we have to offer that we forget to listen to how we can solve an issue or a problem or a challenge.
Right. And listening is the most important part of it. It's just like a doctor who's trying to diagnose your symptoms. As a service provider, we have to listen to what your desires are, your wants are, your needs are, and then formulate the best path forward.
Yeah. I'm so tickled. Our podcast also goes up on my national blog with Proud Green Homes. There's my plug for Proud Green Homes. ProudGreenHomes.com. Expert Insights is where the blog lives. They just put up a video I had shot a while ago about how to talk to your builder or remodeler about green.
Oh, how cool.
It's actually been getting a lot of attention in the Twitter world. And I'm so excited because I'm like, that is a place, if I can just help even a few families understand how to ask for what they really want and what's really important and how to line up their values with the people they're bringing in to work with them on fulfilling their dreams, then I've done something worthwhile.
Well, once you've reached that first person, that starts the journey.
It does, because then the second person doesn't have to do all the work. They just have to accept it.
That's exactly right.
They do. There was a YouTube video about that there's no movement until there's a follower or something like that.
That's appropriate, though. That is exactly how it is.
It is. You and I have had this conversation quite a bit that green homes are here. The statistics show it. The national research show it. And we are on track for this to become the way most people build.
Well, and I think the latest round of certification figures shows 800 homes in St. Louis have been certified green now.
Close to that.
No, I mean, this
600 and change.
No, it's
we got
a little
the new
higher.
numbers.
Yeah, we got the new numbers last week, and it was a little higher than anybody anticipated.
And we'll put a plug in here for the Home Builders Association because those certifications are coming through and in association with our Home Builders Association and the National Green Building Standard and what preceded it, the guidelines. And I wish we did a better job getting the word out about that because that's really awesome news.
Yeah, it really is.
Awesome news. And I just don't know that so many people are surprised that we're in the heartland and we have this much interest in green and green certification happening right here in the middle of the heartland.
Well, most people don't realize we've been on the cutting edge of this whole thing for over a decade now.
I know.
But nobody realizes it.
I know. Well, that's why we're here, to help people realize it. So just because we're in St. Louis, we can talk anyway. Hey, we got to take a break. We'll be back.
How does a feature film studio take a drunken, careless womanizer and make him a hero? Add on a multicolored suit of iron, insert an arc reactor into his heart, and watch as yet another Marvel superhero springs from the comic book page into our collective feature film hearts. Check out all of the nostalgic detail of Marvel Studios' Iron Man. In Perspective Review, complete, detailed, and always educational via the Perspective Review of Iron Man. Check it out now at perspectivereviews.com. That's perspectivereviews.com.
Thought about a career in voiceover? Need a great, cost-effective, on-hold message for your organization or business? Don't know where to start? Check out The Voice Farm, your one-stop shop for voiceover needs. Check it all out now by accessing The Voice Farm at voicefarmers.com and see what difference can be made with a company that is truly outside the box. From the Voice Box, voicefarmers.com. That's voicefarmers.com.
Everyone knows what identity theft is, right? Well, maybe not. Learn more by listening at scammercast.com.
So Tony and I are gabbing today. This is my intellectual partner in green. There, I said it.
You said it right this time.
So we're gabbing today about what matters to you, your family, friends, and your community. And while we were on break, we got started talking about water. And actually, World Water Day was a few weeks ago, back in March. But it was really interesting to read some of the different articles that were being published about water as a resource and how many countries that it gets very political.
It's very political.
Humanitarian, and there's just so many aspects to our resources that I don't think we in the United States really have a chance to fully appreciate. I know a lot of people that different organizations or churches that they're involved with have water projects, so it has been raised in the social fabric, if you will. But that's crazy.
Well, when you really talk about water, it is the most precious resource on the world.
Yeah, we don't live without it.
Everybody thinks, oh my gosh, oil, do we have enough oil? Oil is nothing.
Yeah,
it is all about water.
It is water.
The stats say of all the water that is available in the world, only 1/100,000th of 1% is available for drinking.
So it's like what,
0.0001.
That's not very much water.
On average, 1 billion people a day do not have access to clean, drinkable water. Yeah. Yet here we are. We don't really experience that in St. Louis.
Right.
Now,
because we're drowning.
We are drowning. We are constantly drowning in water. And this is a big passion of mine is water. And I spent a lot of time writing papers on this for school. I've spent a lot of time studying this in school. And it's the one thing that if we kind of fast forward, 20, 30, 40, 50 years in the future, it's the one thing that's going to always save St. Louis.
Yeah. You remember back on Super Bowl that I'm going to put a plug in here, which I don't do too often. Colgate ran an ad on Super Bowl Sunday that was about water. And
yes.
They had the hands washing underneath the sink faucet. And while the water was running, they had like 4 or 5 people dip in and get water. But I think that was just so indicative of how much we take it for granted.
Yeah, it was a powerful commercial.
It was.
And its sole purpose was to raise awareness that, hey, in the United States, we are so lucky because we have this built-in infrastructure. But you start to step outside into, third world countries, countries in Africa, they don't have the ability to access clean water like we do.
Well, we are very blessed, and I want to find ways to share my blessings, and I think many of us do. And so hopefully through this podcast, we can help people find ways to share those blessings. And actually, now that I say that out loud, that's a great goal for us with this podcast is to maybe find some places that people can not only learn more and things they can take action on, but maybe things they can contribute to as well. So
Absolutely.
There, we took a to-do for the team here. Yeah, and it was funny because World Water Day, there's all these days now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the spring, the days start. We have Earth Day, Arbor Day is in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's coming up too.
And then, of course, we've got just the normal spring and all the celebrations that go with that, and with Easter and Passover, and I'm sure a host of other holidays that I'm missing.
Flag Day.
No, that's in June. June 14th. I actually know that one because a sorority sister of mine got married on Flag Day. That's you, Liz, if you ever listen to this. But there's a lot of opportunities for people to learn and to participate in doing something, taking action, and doing something that helps to improve their home or their community or the bigger world. And I think so many of us get all caught up that, oh my gosh, I can't do enough, so I don't do anything.
Well, and that's a good point because people focus on how much they can do.
Right.
I think the bigger picture is, can you do something?
Right. I agree with that.
Because a lot of people doing smaller projects will add up quicker than 1 or 2 people doing larger projects.
Okay, so on the theme of water, what's something that everyone can do right now?
First things first, men, when you're shaving, don't let the water run.
Anybody
when you're brushing your teeth,
don't let the water run. And by the way, okay, my kids were raised on Barney the dinosaur. Okay, y'all know how old I am now, right? So my kids were raised on Barney the purple dinosaur, and Barney had a song that he would do on his little TV show about turning the water off.
I'm going to trust you on this. I never had to watch Barney.
No, you didn't have to watch Barney, the purple dinosaur. We taught our kids, and actually I see a lot of times the kids I've done as a parent resource and a parent volunteer. I did a lot of work in the Gifted Learning Center at Rockwood, and they did some really cool programs. And, invariably the kids are coming home, Mom, Dad, don't do that. Mom, do this, do that. But this is a great way to help, is to get the kids understanding, if they can build good habits, then a lot of times they'll take them home.
Oh, absolutely.
So Barney had a function in there.
Well, I know even Anheuser-Busch gets into it. I guess every November, they have their contest of, hey, to save 100,000 gallons of water or whatever, they tell their male employees, don't shave.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
When a company like an Anheuser-Busch takes the time to facilitate some kind of a water conservation program, then it has to be important.
Well, they impact a huge amount of water. I mean, water's
Worldwide.
crucial to
Worldwide.
water's crucial to their operations, and it is to a lot of operations. I know when I started studying the subject, I didn't recognize how much water is used in every kind of manufacturing process. It's huge, and we don't recognize that. So I think for a lot of us individuals, we're like, well, my water use is a fraction of what those big companies is, so I don't need to worry about it as much. But what we forget is that a whole bunch of drops still make a bucket.
Well, there's more people than there are companies.
Exactly. So if all of us can do a little bit, then it makes a big impact.
Absolutely.
And then if the big companies and the big agriculture and big implementers or big users of water also do something, then we've really made the needle move. And then we've really had an opportunity to make some change. Stay tuned, folks, because water is going to become an even bigger issue than it already is. And it's a key part of green homes. And one of the things that we teach when we're out working with people in certified green homes or how to green up their existing home is not only the behavioral changes,
but it's also the efficiency.
Yeah. So if you're replacing a faucet in your bathroom,
you always want to use like a low-flow faucet, low-flow toilets, low-flow shower heads. It's all about using products that use less water on a daily basis.
Yeah. My whole thing has been, green as you go. And every time you maintain or replace or remodel, make a little bit better decision. Find a lower water use option. Find a lower energy use option or a lower toxics option, depending on what you're doing. But the choices are easy. It used to be that you had to go look for these products or special order them.
Oh, now they're everywhere.
Oh my gosh, every big box store.
It's almost like you have to expend more time to find something that isn't an efficient product.
I don't know if it's quite that much. So in the water world, you want to look for low flow. Mm-hmm. Or if you want to make it really easy, just look for the label WaterSense.
Right, because that's certified by the EPA.
Yeah, that's certified by the EPA, and they've already taken all the guesswork out of it for you. They've already said it meets all the requirements to qualify as a low-flow fixture.
And you'd have to think, if it's being certified by the EPA, it's been vetted pretty hard.
Well, they're the same ones that started Energy Star, so
right.
Yeah. They've got pretty far-reaching. We actually didn't intend to get off on this water discussion today, but it's really been a good time because spring is a time of water. It's a time of rebirth. It's a time of growth. So thinking about your water and how it impacts all that makes a lot of sense right now.
Yeah, it really does.
Okay, well, we're going to come back after break and talk about some of the more specifics of what's going on and what you may want to check out in the next couple of months.
Do you know anything about perpetual advertising? Yeah, that's what I thought. Find out how perpetual advertising can change the way customers find you and how your marketing money can literally work for you while you sleep. It's perpetual advertising, and it's only from Two Guys Talking. Find out more at twoguystalking.com/sponsors. Do you know anything about perpetual advertising? That's what we thought. Find out how perpetual advertising can change the way customers find you and how your marketing money can literally work for you while you sleep. It's perpetual advertising, and it's only from Two Guys Talking. Find out more at twoguystalking.com/sponsors.
Hi, this is Curtis Bailey, elder law attorney and co-host on Scammercast.com. Don't miss our most recent episode where we welcome Mark Goodman, global security advisor and futurist, talking all things cybercrime. In particular, those things that impact seniors and the people that care for them on the next episode of Scammercast.com.
Fighting isn't just something I was doing when I was a kid. It's followed me into adulthood. Not so much the beatdowns at work or finishing off bullies that scratch my car. I'm Mike Wilkerson. I'm hosting Two Guys Talking MMA, a completely original perspective review podcast detailing the events showcased on Fox Sports 1's The Ultimate Fighter. Join me and my co-host, MMA's Adam Sella, in a literal cavalcade of guest fighters, promoters, and more, where we'll talk about the show, the fighters, the fights, and more. It's a completely different flavor of fight review, and it's only from Two Guys Talking. Witness the carnage, the perspectives, and fun at twoguystalkingmma.com. That's twoguystalkingmma.com.
So what on a line on the show?
Beauty is in the attempt.
So we're back if y'all haven't figured that out. Tony and Marla, intellectual partners in green. I know. I don't think we can rename the show at this point, but we do gab about green a lot,
we
don't we?
gab about green.
Yeah,
That's the whole point.
Yeah, they gab about what? Green homes, green living, and green communities, or green companies, or both.
A little bit of both.
You know what's that's kind of fun though, is there's a little bit of green in a lot of things, and that's not just if you're Irish.
Hey now.
And living in St. Louis, which is a very Irish city, very, very Irish, and I don't do an Irish brogue very well.
That's because that's how you know it's Catholic.
Oh, yeah.
If there's a high Irish population,
There
it's
is.
typically a high Catholic town.
Yeah, my kids have a lot of Irish in them, and it's not all for me. Actually, I'm more Scotch, not so much Irish. But what's so cool about this is that, actually, as we were saying earlier, there's a lot of green stuff kind of happening in the midst of everyday life that people aren't necessarily putting the nomenclature green on, but it is. So, for instance, a few years ago, we passed single-stream curbside recycling here in St. Louis County, simply by virtue of putting your recyclables in your container and putting it out on the curb. You're doing something green.
Right. And the companies that handled all the recycling made it simple and easy.
Right.
Remember the old days of recycling, you
not
had
so
to have it
much.
all separated, and people kind of looked at it as, oh, this is kind of a pain.
Right.
If we make things easy, it becomes not a green issue. It becomes just a normal, everyday, this is what we
People
do.
issue, yeah.
That's exactly it.
So with this being in the midst of spring, April is kind of the kickoff to a lot of events that do help to let people learn stuff and to make it easy.
Like Earth Day.
Yeah, so we had Earth Day, and
We've got Green Homes Festival coming up.
this is St. Louis stuff, but you know what? Even if you're not in St. Louis, there's a lot of stuff like this going on all around the country. Just check out the internet, because there's invariably things going on, and Meetup's been another good place. I've found a lot of good groups to learn more about sustainability and about green. They have a lot of groups that meet and actually do stuff as opposed to just talking about it on a podcast like we do.
Yeah, but hey, somebody has to bring this out to the open.
Well, I have a group, a couple of us started a group. Matter of fact, Laura Lee and Stacy were here kicking off the podcast with me, and we started the St. Louis Green Exchange, which is mainly women, although you've been invited to several meetings.
Have I?
Well, if you haven't, you can kind of. But, that's really cool because we have people doing all different kinds of stuff. Some of them are making things out of recycled materials. Others are recycling for a teacher's resources. We have health and wellness, which is also a way of being green.
Mm-hmm.
We have window films. We have rental boxes for moving. We have realtors and a whole bunch more that I'm missing. We've got like 30 members in just a couple of months with just word of mouth.
Wow.
And this is all different women right now, more women, that have an interest in or some way that their business touches a piece of green.
That's amazing when
Just
you
took
kind of
off.
think about that.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere, a group has
It's
sprung
mushroomed.
up
Yeah.
just like that.
It's crazy. Obviously, there was a need. And some of those folks have been on the podcast, and a lot more of them, I hope, will become guests with us on the podcast, as well as between the two of us. Oh my gosh, we've got a long list of people we want to.
Yeah, there's a lot of people we'll be talking to.
So, this month we've also talked with DJM Ecological about ecological restoration and sustainable landscaping, which sounds like a lot of big stuff, but it really says kind of going back to nature.
Really, and when you think about it, it's the time
It's the
everybody
time.
thinks about, it's time to redo the garden,
Yeah.
it's time to plant, it's time to do everything. So what better instead of just running down to a Home Depot or a Lowe's, but doing a little research and finding those native plants and landscaping that you can be doing.
Well, and even if you go there, at least you know what you're getting yourself into
Right.
and you know what to look for. A little bit of research. Pure Power, this month talking about the RECs, or the Renewable Energy Credits program through Ameren, our electric utility here.
Right, and I believe there are changes in the program this year.
There may likely be. I know I've been a member of Pure Power for several years now.
Yeah, same here.
And I just pay the little bit extra on my bill to help support wind power in the state of Missouri.
I don't know, for me, it's maybe about $6 or $8 a month.
Yeah, it's not very much.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's not very much. And it's a great way to know, that we're helping to diversify. And I'm always a big advocate of diversification. So
True.
Diversify where our electricity is coming from. And then we've had Associated Bank talking about green financing.
Yeah, they're coming up on the 5th of May.
Yeah,
That'll
so our
be
Elements of Green workshop.
Yep.
So if you're in the St. Louis area, we would love to have you join us for this. If you are not getting our emails now, email me at Marla@GreenHomeCoach, and we will get you on the invitation list to come to the Elements of Green workshop on green financing.
That is correct.
And we're still not exactly sure of the location, but look in the podcast notes.
I thought it was going to be at
there.
the sound room still.
It is at the sound room.
Yeah.
Okay.
We weren't sure on the time because we didn't know if it was going to be lunch or happy hour.
I still like the idea of happy hour.
Well, and that's what we were looking at doing is happy hour
Forgot
about 3
that.
o'clock, baby.
Yeah, I guess we got to get that figured out, huh?
Yeah.
And then we'll move on and with the Green Homes Festival. And
Now, aren't you going to be speaking at that?
I just got invited to speak at it a few weeks ago. So
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's really exciting. I got to speak at the last one. Matter of fact, that video from that conversation is on the new Green Home Coach website. So
Excellent. Now, what are you going to speak about at the Green Homes Festival?
Not sure yet. Something with green
It's
homes.
going to be a mystery. Show up to the festival to find out.
Yeah, there you go. That's your tickler to come. And we'll be back at the Botanical Gardens this year, which last year was at the Butterfly House, which I enjoyed, but I think I'm a kind of a traditionalist. I really like it, the Botanical Gardens.
The Botanical Garden is just such a great destination for it.
Gosh. We are so fortunate to have that here. Anytime I have company come into town, it's like the list of places we want to go is like 19 times bigger than what we have time for. So it's always kind of throwing a dart at which one we're going to end up
you
doing.
can spend weeks in Forest Park and the Botanical Gardens just
easy.
by itself.
Easy. Also, the Sustainable Backyard Tour here in St. Louis, and I need to...
I've never been on that. What's that like?
I have only talked to people that have participated and put their backyards on the tour, but it's really an opportunity to see what people are doing, not only with sustainable gardening, but also with chickens and just really kind of going back to a little bit more independent way of life with their backyards. So check the internet for that. And we'll also get some dates up in the podcast notes so people want to do that. So, there's a lot going on here.
It's always a busy time this year.
It stays cool. So we really enjoy the opportunity to share more about what we're learning and pass it on to you, our listeners. And I welcome any feedback. Just drop me an email and let me know if there's some specific things you want Tony and I to check into and bring to the table. Because that's what intellectual partners in green do.
That is true. We do the heavy research, so you as the listener do not have to.
I know that the opportunity to share this in a casual environment with folks, and hopefully you've got your tea or your coffee or your water or whatever you enjoy and are just getting a chance to listen to us and learn something a little bit new today about something you can do to be a little greener and get in on the gab for why green matters to you, your family, your community, and our world. Tony and Marla, signing off.
See you next time.